Okay, so good evening to all. So this session we will be covering what is called statistics using Python, right? So basically we learned Python. We learned statistics modules. Though we did not complete it, we are yet to see some more hypothesis testing cases. But we have covered almost all types of topics that we want for a beginner's course in statistics. So we will try to see all those we tried with either Excel or directly with the hand or directly using set table or T table, that kind of things. We try to solve those problems. But since we have the power of computers, power of cloud, power of online resource available with us, and then now the power of Python, we don't need to like actually do with a simple calculator all these things, find all these values and all. The computer allows us to do all those things efficiently, and we need not worry about what is the equation which is happening or which is based on which this is happening and all. Only we need to find out how to implement these things. So I will just give some examples of use cases for the things that we learned in descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. I'll just cover how we can implement those things using Python codes. I'll be covering nothing fancy, nothing very hi-fi and all. I'll be just sticking to basic kind of examples. So we saw pandas maybe 2 weeks back, and last week we saw inferential statistics, hypothesis testing basics. So till that level only I will be covering today. And tomorrow Shirish will be covering hypothesis testing, other cases also. So I will just I will not go to equations of that and all in detail. I'll just tell how those also can be fitted into our framework of Python. Because once you learn how manually you can do, later you can refer back to whatever we discussed today for two population case also. That way I will mostly try to stick to basics. If you guys have any doubt, you can interrupt me at any moment. So I put a 2-3 references here. One is some number routines for statistics, first one. So that will have things like np.mean, np.median that are all provided by NumPy library that you can directly use to find some statistics. You can refer these later. Whatever required I am covering in my content. Then there is a library called the stats models. So that has some statistical functions and a SciPy. So this SciPy stands for scientific Python. Stats model stands for statistical models. So these two we will be using throughout in our inferential statistics and other hypothesis testing, that kind of things. And NumPy only we will be mostly sticking to for our descriptive statistics part, because that is everything that we want we can manage with that. So we'll be sticking to that. So just before I think some people might have forgot pandas. So I will just like give a brief like refresher with pandas. I will just initialize a data frame in pandas, then do some things with that. And from that we can proceed to once we have a data frame having some contents, how you can proceed to find the statistics with that. So as you know, we will be panel data, pandas library we will be importing as PD. NumPy library we will be importing as NPy. So this thing, if you have any doubt of what I have done here, you can refer back to our Panda session. I have covered how different ways in which we can create a dictionary. So in this dictionary, as you can see, I have 3 keys: name, age, and rating. And the it is like a dictionary, right? D is a dictionary. The keys are name, age, and rating. And each dictionary, the value is a series, a Panda series, which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 names of 12 people. Okay, A, B, C, D, F, G, I have just put. Okay, I had to some difficulty finding some names with some letters and all. Okay, so some 12 names I have put in names. Age, same 12 numbers we want to have. The ages of the 12 people whose names are there in the first key. And rating, suppose they are working in some company and the company maybe grades them every year. So some 12 ratings are provided in order which corresponds to each employee. So like that, if I have a dictionary, then I can create a data frame using the pd.dataframe constructor. I will just try to print that data frame. So as we can see, I got from index 0 to 11 4 rows and column name, age, and rating 3 columns. The entries are corresponding to whatever I passed as values in the dictionary, right? So now let's find some information, pandas basic information, which is available in the library itself for this particular data. So one is called a df.info. So df.info is basically give me like how many columns are there, how many valid entries, non-null entries are there in each column, and the type of each object. So if you can see here, name is of type object, that means string or categorical. Age is of type integer, 64 bits long, and rating it is of type float. As you can see from here, suppose I had a value, maybe something like np dot not a number. If I had this here, then let's see how it differs. So then, as you can see here, Laila age is nan. So if I print the df.info for this particular age column, I got only 11 nominal values, right? Okay, so we don't want that here. So I just showed that as an example. So I will run this once again. So now how it matters is that suppose you have a data set 1000 entries, 2000 entries and all. There may be null values in that, and you may have to like impute that, put some value there, median, mean or something, or just put everything to 0, something like that. So for that, this info function you can find to get an overall idea of how many entries are not null and that type corresponding to each object. Then df.describe gives me a set of basic statistics for all the numeric columns. As you can see here, the numeric columns here are age and rating. So corresponding to age and rating, I got the count, which is total number of entries, mean of all the entries, standard deviation of the entries. Then I got the quartile information, 25%, 50%, 75%, right? Our Q1, Q2, Q3, and whatever is required for computing our range, min and max. So this is something called a 5-point statistics for any data. So I got the 5-point statistics plus mean and standard deviation for the data with a single call to df.describe. But as you can see here, I didn't get any information about name. Suppose name is a categorical variable. So if I want to get the values for all categorical variables, I can give an argument like include equal to object. So then what it will show me is it will give me a count. Then how many unique entries are there? So categorical value, suppose you have male and female, then that will have only 2 values. So here you will get unique as 2. Then top means similar to which is the maximum occurring element in the corresponding this table. So since here each name is distinct, anyone out of that we will get. And what is the frequency of this top element? As you can see, it occurred only once. Okay, so suppose you want to like merge everything together and you want statistics for your numerical data similar to this as well as your categorical data similar to this, you can instead of object here, you can pass what is an argument as all. So if you pass all, what you will get is you will like get a merging of all these two. So as you can see, first things are here, then whatever is not valid there, it came as not a number. Similarly for categorical data, all the numerical statistics are not valid. So here not a number came. So from visualization point of view, these things are better. But from knowing all your columns in a single run, this thing would be better. So you can always ignore this NaN and you need to care about only values, columns or entries where values are populated, right? Now we can just see along with pandas itself some functions which will give you the values of whatever is coming here. This count, mean, standard deviation, mean. Pandas, we will just run all those to see that. If I give df.count, I will get corresponding name, age and rating total. df.minimum corresponding to each one. Arjun 23, 2.56. So you know that 23 and what is that 2.56 is this thing. Yeah, 2.56 are same as what we got here. df.max, again you will get this 51 and 4.8. Then df.max minus min, which will give me our range. So that is actually not supported for string type, right? So what I can do is, suppose I want for age alone, so I can just give here age. So df of age dot max minus df of age in. So then I will get for the age. Now suppose I want for rating also, then I will get one more thing. I will put one more square bracket, then I will put rating inside that. So why I put one square bracket in earlier case and now 2 square bracket and all, I am not repeating now. We have covered that in our previous session. You can just go through. So I got a range 28 and 2.24 for each of the columns. Now suppose I want a sum of all columns. As you can see, it will just do a concatenation for string. So it will be like Arjun, Bunty, Kathy. So all those things will get plus plus plus. And for the rating and age thing, since those are numerical, it will give you the numerical sum corresponding to all these. So this much for pandas introduction. Now we will go to whatever descriptive statistics like grounds up. We will try to like find it out from direct equations, and then we will see how we can use that during using these functions and how it differs. So as you know, mean x bar is 1 by n, sum of all entries, all n entries, and then I will divide it by total number of entries. So we will usually denote it by x bar for a sample case, and we will denote it by mu for population case. As you know, for population, we will use capital N, and for sample, we will use small n. So as you can see, the equation is one and the same. Only the case and the x bar mu thing differs. So depending on whether you are thinking about a population or a sample, you have to write, because doing is one and the same thing, right? So when you write the equation, since MCQ things this does not matter, right? If you are having a descriptive exam, when you write the equation, you can write accordingly. So same thing we will just use during this function that we saw, df age dot sum divided by count and rating dot sum dot count. That is what we are writing it here, right? So same thing. If I use df dot mean, also I will get the same thing. So that is our mean for the data that we are considering here for age and rating. Then coming to mean, if you have some doubts, you can ask, no issues. You can interrupt and ask. So coming to median. So median also we saw in detail in our descriptive sessions, and then later we saw examples using Excel and all. So as you know, I will just see that slide is somewhere here. Descriptive. Median. Okay, so median, we saw that median is what? We have to, like, if we have like a odd number of data, the median will be the middle one, and if we have even number of total data points, the median will be the average of the middle two entries, right? So let's see how we can. I will just write a Python function for it, and then I will see what the default function gives. So let's see how you can implement a function, because why I have given this is instead of median, if you want to find anything else, you can use a similar approach, right? So you will be given an input list. So first thing you have to do is we know that for the median, the list has to be either sorted in the ascending direction or descending direction, right? Either it has to be like smallest to largest or largest to smallest. Then only our data will be properly formatted to find the median. So we will do sorted first. Then I will find the length of the list. Then I will check whether the list is size is odd or even. If it is even, I know that it is the average of the middle two elements. So I will take the middle two elements and I will divide it by 2. If it is a odd number, then I will just have to find the middle element, right? So let's see for our data. Our data has total even number, right? So it will be the average of these two middle ones, and the output that we get will be same as the call for df.median. Now mode is what? The most frequently occurring value in a particular data set, and from here we got 3 modes: 23, 25, 30. Let's check our data. So if you see, so 25 I am having 2 entries, 30 I am having 2 entries, 23 also I am having 2 entries, and all other entries I am having only ones. So that means that our data has 3 modes corresponding to these 3 values, right? So I have not put a like how to implement the grounds of code for this, because it is straightforward, right? You just have to iterate over your list, count the number of each entries, and then finally put it in a dictionary or something, and then sort that dictionary based on the keys. Now, next thing that we learned in descriptive is quantiles. So quantiles, quartiles, percentiles. So all we learned. So what for finding all those, we can use what is called quantile. So what you have to pass to a quantile function is the particular quantiles, quartiles, percentiles, the value of that. which is mapped to a value between 0 and 1. So suppose I want the 80th percentile, I have to pass 0.8 here. Similarly, if I want the 5th decile, I have to pass 0.5 here. If I want the first quartile, I have to pass 0.25, second quartile 0.25, third quartile 0.75. Similarly, percentile, you divide it by 100. Any percentile between 1 and 100, if I want it, pass it here, divide by 100. Any decile I want, it is from 1 to 10, right? So divide that by 10. So 5th decile by 10, 0.5 I had to pass. So if I want the quartiles, min, max, this is similar to the 5-point statistics that we saw earlier. Min, Q1, Q2, Q3 max. So that will give me the values for the age 23, 25, 29, 35. So if you can check with that, if you see here, you can know that 23, 25, 29.5, 35.5, 51, right? So same thing, same 5-point statistics we got using this quantiles also. The next thing that we learned in this thing was mean absolute deviation about mean or median. So your equations also I have put here. Mean absolute deviation, you have to find the difference between xi and the central value. The central value can be either mean or a median in this case. Median we will denote as x bar. Mean we will denote as x bar. Median we will denote as x tilde with a tilde on top. So from that we compute the difference from each data point and add everything up, then divide that by total number of samples. That way we will get mean absolute deviation about the mean or the mean absolute deviation about median. So let's see how we can find that. So first thing I have written down the same steps in this equation as a step by step thing. So first I will compute xi minus x bar. So for that I have to find absolute of age minus mean of age. So let's add a column like that to my table. Okay, so I got a column like this. Then I have to find the sum of that column and divide that by n, right? So that will give my mean absolute deviation about the mean 7.27 I got. So in Pandas data frame, one function is there called MAD. The function is not MAD function. It is just our mean absolute deviation. There is nothing mad about this function, right? So that will give me the same result. Then if about median I want, same these steps I will follow. Instead of mean, I will use median. I will create a column with everything subtracted from median. Then I will compute the sum of that and I will divide it by the sum. So mean absolute deviation about mean, I will get a 6.666. Then coming to the next thing that we want is what? Variance and standard deviation, right? So variance, as you know, we will be considering for the sample or the population, and we have two equations. One is for S square and sigma square. Both those cases, we will be subtracting the mean from the data points. We will be squaring that, adding everything. And in case of sample case, we will divide it by n minus 1, where n is the sample size. And in case of population case, we will divide it by capital N, where n is the population size. So as far as the computation is computed, these things differs only in the denominator, n minus 1 in this case or n in this case. So first thing you can same equations x minus x bar that we computed, we can square that and add, then divided by n minus 1, we will get 85.24. Similarly, Pandas has a default function dot var that will give me the same value. So for population deviation divided by count minus 1, instead of that I will divide by count itself. So I'll get 88. Now this df dot var, same function, Pandas function we can use. It will use what is called a degree of freedom. So degree of freedom, degree of freedom is the value at this point. If I by default the value will be 1. If I give any other value here, that will be replaced here. N minus 2, n minus 3, n minus 10, whatever you want, you can do. So in this equation, we want 0 at that place. So we will pass degree of freedom as 0. So that way we will get the population standard population variance. Now suppose standard deviation, it is the same as the both the cases that we considered. Only thing, it is the square root. Either population or sample, it is the square root of the corresponding variance. So that you can directly find it using a std call to the Pandas library, or you can, if you want to manually compute, you can compute it. They both will give you the same results, 9.23, right? And similarly, higher moments called as Q and kurtosis are there, which are actually not considered in our course. But anyway, if you want to find, you can, those also similar functions are available, which with which you can directly find the skew or kurtosis of your data. Those are actually like a third moment, fourth moment of your data that when we go to machine learning and all, we will be seeing those things in details, like how to find out more details about their data and how to optimize it for them particular tasks.